Okay, so I'm very excited to be here today. I want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Tulam, 35 years old, from Munich. So we do consulting and training for digital marketing and e-commerce. Before that, I was also an e-commerce founder. I was a business school professor and also worked in media and venture capital. I think the most important thing for the talk today is that I really love all sorts of new technology and gadgets. So as he already said, I have lots of gadgets at home, like we have an Amazon Echo in every single room, we have drones, robot vacuum cleaners, we have virtual reality glasses. We don't have a TV because that's kind of old school. And I do coaching for startups and try to travel to Silicon Valley once a year just to try out the latest stuff. Okay, so the title for today is Consumer Expectations in the Age of Mobile, Amazon and Artificial Intelligence, and what brands have to deliver if they don't want to die. So this may sound a bit dramatic, but as you all know, consumers are super demanding. Amazon is really raising the bar for everyone in this market, and startups are really innovative. So existing brands really need to step up their game if they want to compete in this environment. So how to be successful in digital? So in the past, this thing always worked, so sex always sold. And while sex is obviously great, in digital, something else is even more important. In digital, I'm convinced it is speed that is selling. Let me give you some examples. So today's consumers are more demanding than ever before. They want a taxi in 5 minutes, and Uber is delivering this. They want their pizza delivered in 20 minutes. We have Deliveroo for that. They want their groceries in 60 minutes. That is Amazon Prime Now. They want their search results in 0.3 seconds. That is Google. Facebook and Google are obviously delivering web content really, really fast. They want their content on demand with Netflix and Spotify. They hate to stand in line at the supermarket, and Amazon is trying to fix that problem with the Amazon Go supermarket. They don't want to pay cash. Apple is trying to address that. And they want an immediate answer to their requests. So they don't want to be stuck in some kind of consumer hotline, but rather message with the brands and retailers. So what do these brands all have in common? They all are in the business of removing friction. And so what do we mean by friction? Friction is basically just the level of difficulty that customers face when they want to complete a task. And this task could be buying something, calling a taxi, or ordering a pizza. So friction is really simple. Friction equals time equals money. And so if you're in the business of removing friction, it basically means make things as fast and easy as possible and save time and money. So I call this Tulam's law of friction, also very simple. You remove friction, you win. And you create friction, you die. What are some examples of ordering without friction? So one is basically just pushing one of those Amazon Dash buttons. Even less friction is just to yell at Alexa, Alexa, buy some coconut water. Apple Pay also creates a very frictionless payment method where you have Touch ID, where you can pay on the web, on your phone, even on your desktop. Square offers this kind of credit card payment. I think when I was in San Francisco 5 or 6 years ago, I was at a street food market, and there already I was able to pay my tacos and burritos with this kind of, with this Square technology. And today we have 2017 and we still don't have it in Germany. I think all over the world, cash is going away except for Germany, because Germans really love their cash. Again, this is an example of Apple Pay. In the US, you can send transfer money via Facebook Messenger. In China, with WeChat, you can do mobile payment. And what I find really cool is this thing. So even those food stands in China, you can just pull out your phone, open WeChat, and just scan this QR code, and then you already pay. Chinese food stalls on the street are more sophisticated in mobile payment than the largest retailers in Germany. You've all seen the video of Amazon Go, how they're trying to create a supermarket without a cashier. And what I think is great about Uber is that if you're at the end of your ride, you don't even need to confirm the payment. You can just walk out. So when we talk about friction in a normal taxi, so yesterday I was in a taxi and paid with a credit card. So the driver had to take my credit card, swipe it through his little machine. Then I had to wait a little bit, sign something, and it took maybe 2 minutes. And so you could say, okay, 2 minutes is not a big deal. If you use my taxi in Germany, you can pay without cash. And then you simply need to confirm the 25 euros. And with Uber, you don't even need to confirm, you just walk out. And so that's the level of friction that those companies want to reduce. So they're saying, okay, it's great to get from 2 minutes to 30 seconds, but going from 30 seconds to 0 seconds is even better. So the best companies in the world all reduce friction. And so this is why we have this new world order with the GAFAs and the NATOs. The GAFA is probably well known to you. These are Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. And they are not only dominating their home turfs, such as search, mobile, and e-commerce, but also the new adjacent fields like virtual reality and artificial intelligence. And the other four guys here are Netflix, Airbnb, Tesla, and Uber. And they are dominating the upcoming industries of streaming, ride-sharing, and self-driving cars. But they all have the same goal of making everything as simple as possible. So now let's talk about Amazon. I was here also last year, and last year I showed this slide, how Amazon is eating the world. So 1 year later, nothing changed. Amazon is still eating the world. But what I find quite interesting is that just 9 months ago, Amazon was valued at 356 billion, and this is more than all those 10 guys combined. And you can add some more into that, like a Carrefour is another 14 billion, or a Metro is another 8 billion. So you can try to fit as many retailers in there as you want. They still won't be as big as Amazon. So that was 9 months ago. And since then, all Amazon did was to add another 120 billion in market cap. So this 120 billion is just like 10 more Carrefours or half a Walmart within 9 months. Friends often ask me for some kind of stock advice because they say, okay, you're like a digital expert, right? Can you give me some insider tips for stock buying? Then I always tell them, yeah, I have those top secret insider tips. Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook. If you buy those stocks, you'll be okay. So Jeff Bezos, I found this nice picture of him in 2000. Really, really nice guy. He has more hair than today, and he's really nice. He sells books, and today he looks like a Terminator. And he says, "I sell whatever the f he wants." And for a brief moment, he was also the richest man in the world this year, as the stock fluctuates. But I think he'll be fine, even if he's just number 2 or number 3. Amazon is all about removing friction, so they try to lure everybody into the Amazon Prime program. They give you Amazon Music for free, video for free. They create all those devices that make ordering and delivering ever easier. And now they are entering this whole grocery market, which is basically the biggest market there is. And what I think is really a big game changer is Amazon Prime Now. Who of you lives in the city where you have Amazon Prime Now? Who has tried it? Who uses it regularly? Okay, so Amazon Prime Now, for those who don't have it, so it's amazing. And basically they deliver you all groceries for free within 2 hours. And if you need to have it really fast, you can pay $6.99. And in Munich, at times, I get my order within 30 minutes. And they have all sorts of groceries, but you can also buy cameras and PlayStations and Nintendo Switches. And they deliver from 8 in the morning until 12 at night. So really amazing service. But the problem is that this really raises the bar for everybody else. So whereas in the past, like a 2-day delivery was kind of okay, and next day delivery was kind of cool, and same-day delivery was amazing, at some point people will get used to that, and they will expect some kind of 1 hour or 30-minute delivery. And obviously this is a big problem for all the other guys. So 100, this is the number of times that I bought something on Amazon in the past 12 months. So on average, I ordered twice a week on Amazon. This number will increase this year because since the minimum order value at Amazon Prime Now is only 20 euros, whenever I just need 2 liters of milk, which would be 2.50, I'm like, okay, I'm far too lazy to go out now, and I will find something else to fill the 20 euros, and then I'll get it delivered for free. And so this is obviously me being very lazy and being very impatient, but I think we all know that, yeah, we are really, really busy, and so why would you go out for 30 minutes to buy 2 liters of milk if somebody's delivering it to you for free? So as I said, I buy 100 times on Amazon every year. I used to buy my stuff with those guys, DM, Rewe, Alnatura, and Bringmeister. And some of them, like DM, billion-dollar companies, they have terrible user experiences. Terrible checkout, terrible navigation, terrible usability. They don't have an app. You can just repurchase what you bought the last time. I tried to buy something at DM. It really didn't work. I hope I know my way around an e-commerce store. I was not able to buy anything. But at some point I was just so frustrated and took all of my business to Amazon. And so this is like, I guess, a couple of thousands of euros every year that they're going to lose for the next 20 or 30 years or whatever. So bad user experience really destroys value, and it's kind of shocking that even in 2017, where people want to talk about virtual reality and all of that stuff, that a lot of companies don't even get the basics right. Even big airlines or IKEA has the worst online experience. So for retail, winter is not only coming, winter is already there. So in 2017, there were already 100,000 retail jobs lost. We had 9,000 store closings. In the mid-long term, 50% or 7 million retail jobs are at risk. And the whole discussion in the US about how Donald Trump wants to save the coal industry, this is all fine and well, but these are maybe 50,000 people who work in the coal industry, and there's like tens of millions in the retail industry that are really being threatened, A, by new technology, but also because of Amazon, because Amazon just provides a better user experience. So this retail dying, so it was very interesting to see in the presentation before how malls have to change, because in the midterm, 25% of malls will go away. And I still remember when I was a teenager and I was in the US for the first time, I always thought that malls were the greatest thing ever, so exciting, great food courts, great fast food. And nowadays I would never go to a mall again because it's like not really a great experience. Here's a very interesting quote by Neil Blumenthal, CEO of the glasses startup Warby. He doesn't think that retail is dead, but he thinks that mediocre retail experiences are dead. So obviously offline retail has to change. Apple is always a good example. I think the future will be to build better and fewer stores that combine the elements of being a showroom, of providing education and a good customer experience. So with all that said, so Amazon eating everything, what do brands have to do now? So I think that direct to consumer is really the only way to create great brand experiences that Amazon can't. And I know that everybody has this discussion about what's our omni-channel strategy, do we sell through marketplaces and all of that. And obviously those are big revenue generators and are very important. But I think long term, the direct to consumer channel will always be the most important one. So 5 points I want to address. So the first one is that consumers, they really want good value. And what do I mean by that? So look at those two shirts, not really all that different. One costs 90 euros and the other costs 20 euros. I like the second one better. 12,600. And actually now Apple has become the largest watch brand in the world already. Which car do you like better? So this one's the Panamera, it costs 150. And this is the Model 3 and starts at 35. And I think what's different right now is that in the past, companies like Porsche could always say, we don't care about this market. If they're not rich enough to buy a Porsche, we don't really care. And now the problem is that there are a lot of people who could afford both cars and they just like the Tesla better because it's better value and it's a cooler brand, no matter how much money they have. Similar example, we have those nice glasses here, Tom Ford. And here we have those Warby Parkers for $95. And like all the San Francisco and Brooklyn hipsters, even if they have all the money in the world, they would prefer to have this one, the Warby Parker ones, because they just think it's a nicer brand and provides better value. What's quite interesting is that those direct-to-consumer brands, they are really educating the market. So they are pushing their story out there. They are telling the story to the consumer that basically every traditional brand that you buy is kind of ripping you off because you're only paying for those middle structures like middlemen and stores and rent, and that you will actually get better value with the direct-to-consumer brand. Since these companies are so good at storytelling and using social media, podcasting and video, they really get the story across. And so the problem is that, at least for a lot of millennial consumers, they don't even know the traditional brands. Maybe they've never heard about Polo Ralph Lauren. And even if they've heard about it, they don't think it's a good value. This doesn't mean that luxury is dead or anything. So obviously you can always sell expensive products. For instance, the iPhone X at $1,300. Actually, I think this is incredible value. Maybe only for me because I like gadgets. They get away with it. So I guess every brand has to ask themselves whether they really provide this unique product or whether they have to find ways to provide better value for their products. The second point I want to mention is to embrace returns and offer try-ons. So obviously returns are a big problem in e-commerce, very expensive, but it's interesting that in the market we can now observe different programs where they actually encourage returns. One of them is Amazon Wardrobe, where basically they let you pick whatever you like. So if you scroll through the Amazon app, there's this little label of Prime Wardrobe, and you can just order the stuff, they send it to you at home, and they fully expect you to return a lot. And actually, you can just leave it in front of the door. So you don't even have to bring it to a post office. You just drop it off in front of your porch, and they have to make sure that they pick up the package. And again, this reduces a lot of friction for e-commerce customers. Warby Parker, they offer those home try-ons, where you can just order 5 pair of glasses, just try them at home and then send them back. And Casper, they offer you the 100-day sleep trial. And when I first thought about those examples, and actually I've tried all of those, had some pretty good experiences with that, my first thought was that now onliners are trying to replicate offline experiences. But when I actually did it, I found out that it's actually a better experience than the offline experience. Because having the mattress at home for 100 days is a lot better than to try out the mattress in the store for 5 minutes, than having to carry it home. And actually trying on your glasses at home with all your different outfits is a lot better than trying it on in the store. So I think just trying to get people to experience your products is really super important. And obviously you have to be very confident in the product in the quality of your product, because a return for Casper, it costs them several $100s, because there has to be, people have to come and pick it up and they have to throw the mattress away, and it costs them like $200 or $300. So their return rate is below 10%, I think, but if it increases too much, obviously their business case is in trouble. Embrace data. Understand what people want instead of just guessing. So you may have heard about the Amazon Echo Look. Some of you might think that it's super creepy to put a camera into your bedroom. The idea is that you should take a picture of all your outfits every single day and then make a collection of your outfits. And Amazon, through artificial intelligence and some style experts, will actually tell you which style suits you better. By taking all of those pictures, Amazon can actually analyze all of your pictures, and they know exactly what you have in your wardrobe. So they know how many blue sweaters you have, how many red skirts you have, and so this data is obviously very valuable for them to give you recommendations. One company that everybody's talking about nowadays, the next billion-dollar e-commerce company, is a company called Stitchfix, very similar to companies like Outfittery, Trunk Club or Modomoto in Germany. This model where basically they send you a box that they picked for you and you can just keep whatever you like is not really new, but their approach is new because it's super data-driven. What they make you do is that they collect a lot of data about you. So you have to fill out this questionnaire about your body type, how you like to wear your jeans, what kind of brands you like, what kind of shirt patterns you like, what colors you wear, what kinds of shoes, and also what kind of price points you like. And so they use this data in order to just send you better boxes. So they know that the first boxes will not be that great, but over time their machine learning algorithm will learn more about you. So even if you return stuff, they ask you why you returned it, and so I might return this shirt, and I might tell them, hey, the fit was great, I like the color, but it was too expensive. And then they will know he likes this kind of shirt, but let's say $70 is too expensive, and so now we know this, and next time we will offer him something else. So they're really smart about this. They are using this data both to be better buyers and merchandisers, so they do a better job at buying, they have fewer write-offs, they have fewer returns, but they also use it in order to create their own private label. Because the way they analyze data is not just saying, okay, yellow was really successful or skinny fit jeans are really successful, but they basically track all the data. So for a pair of jeans like this, they would have like 100 attributes, and so they would throw those 100 attributes along with all the other data that they have into their model, and this helps them to predict what will work in the future. So I think this is really interesting, and again, one area where data will kind of replace the designer who kind of acts more from his gut feeling. And we've all heard that data is the new oil, but what I'm wondering is if we all know that data is so valuable, then why are we giving it away? I think this is so strange that basically only the retailers or direct-to-consumer companies have data, but a lot of brands really don't. So for example, I've been buying Gillette razor blades for 25 years now, and they don't have a single data point of me. They don't know anything about me, how old I am, where I live. They don't know anything because I've always bought them through retailers. And now there are those other companies like the Dollar Shave Club, and within the first order, they know more about me than Gillette has over a 25-year time span. And so I think when we have this discussion about whether to sell direct to consumer or via marketplaces, I think owning and using the data should be one of the main considerations, along with obviously user experience and margins. And direct to consumer is really the only way to capture this data. Marketing, in a way, is really, really complex. You have all the offline channels, all the digital channels, you have out of home and all the new technologies. I think it's really, really simple. Just focus on mobile. Don't do anything else. Everything else is just a big distraction. Don't bother with TV advertising. Nobody watches TV anymore. I think out of home can work in big cities. Print, I don't know who's reading print magazines. Maybe some people do, maybe not your target group. And even if they do use those different media channels, as we all know, it's super hard to track the effectiveness. And many brands are wondering, well, but my customer, he's not really that young. He's not really on mobile, he's not really on social. But just looking at those numbers, I guess all of your customers are on mobile and on social. Maybe not all of them are on Snapchat, but definitely on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on those messaging platforms. So if you had just to focus on 3 topics, I would just focus on social, on mobile, social media, both your own social media accounts, but obviously also social media advertising, where you now have tremendous targeting options and really good integrations, like with Instagram ads. And I think that content is super important. Don't buy media, but create media. Because in the past, brands, if they had like a 100% ad budget, they would spend 5% on content and 95% on distribution and just buy expensive media on TV and other advertising products. And I think nowadays, if you create great content, distribution could be free if it's shared through social media. So I would really try to turn around this fraction and to invest maybe more like 90% in content, really have dedicated video teams at your company, copywriters, people who take great pictures, and really spend less on buying media. And the final point is to adopt new technologies early. And this is kind of tricky because obviously we don't want to always jump on the latest hype train and waste a lot of money and resources. But at the same time, we really have to test those new technologies and really learn the use cases. Because if today we could say, okay, augmented reality is not really a thing yet, but if and when it explodes in 18 months, you can just say, okay, now I'm going to start, because all the other ones will have already learned so much about the technology, and you will be really behind. So a couple of technologies that I find quite interesting. So one is this idea that messaging apps are the new internet. So the apps that are being used the most are all those messaging apps. And they allow you to do so much more than just texting, but they allow you to buy stuff and do banking and shopping. And one example that is always mentioned is the Chinese app WeChat, which is kind of the role model for both Facebook Messenger and also for WhatsApp. So what they want to do is to create those integrations where you have both content but also commerce. There's talk about chatbots, and to be honest, I think right now all the chatbot experiences are really, really bad. But I find it's really important to be present on messengers. Because nowadays, when I want to buy something and I have a question about a product, I just want to open up Messenger and just ask the brand, hey, what do you think about this product? Which one would you recommend to me? I don't have the time, I don't have the time and patience to write an email or call somebody. And so I just want to have this instant answer. And so I think before people are trying to develop those chatbots, they should just start by having their customer service reps sitting in front of messaging apps and just talk to their customers and really try to push those channels because you have really high engagement on those channels. Alexa skills, I don't think it's a big thing yet. We have many Echoes in our home. I use them sometimes to tell Alexa, buy some diapers, or Alexa, buy some milk. But I think it's quite difficult for products that are more interesting than toilet paper to be sold through a voice interface. But again, I think you have to observe how the technology works and what use cases may arise there. All the big technology companies are entering this smart speaker, smart device market. And so I think in 2 or 3 years' time, this will definitely be a bigger market. Domino's Pizza is actually quite good at reducing friction. Let me show you an example. So they have different ways of selling pizza. And it goes from high friction to low friction. So in my opinion, the highest friction thing ever is to go to a store. So even if the pizza just costs 10 euros, just going there, sitting in a car, driving there, spending gas. So to me, eating a pizza at a store is like a $200 pizza, because it just takes so much time to eat it. And while Domino's Pizza may be great, it's definitely not a $200 pizza. The next way would be to order through a website. Even less friction is if you have your own mobile app. Even less friction could be a messenger integration. And even less friction would be to just say, Alexa, order some pizza. And so they are pretty good at experimenting with all of that. And obviously their product is really a good candidate for those kinds of services. But I think they are really far ahead in terms of using those services. And what I find quite interesting is there's always this discussion about, do we need to have an own app? And the answer is, as always, maybe, or it depends. It's super expensive and hard to get your app distributed, so you may be able to build it, but no one is going to download it. Placing ads for people to download it is super expensive nowadays. But on the other hand, if you do manage to get people to download and use your apps, it's super valuable if you have this little icon on the home screen. So all the mobile users, they live in the world of Amazon and Spotify and Netflix, and if you could somehow add the Hugo Boss or the Zalando or the Tory Burch icon next to that, it would be super valuable, but it's difficult and expensive to achieve that goal. I think of all those technologies, especially for fashion, I think augmented reality is really interesting. So let's just look at the differences. So there's virtual reality, where you work with those closed glasses. I have 2 of them. I never use them. It's not a lot of fun. They just sit somewhere in my house. I think for content it might be fun to watch movie trailers or maybe fashion shows, but I don't really think it's great for commerce. I think augmented reality is a lot more interesting. And with augmented reality, you see everything not through those closed glasses, but through your phone camera. And then you have experiences like here with Pokemon Go or here with Snapchat. So this is augmented reality, where they're basically building a 3D model of your face and putting all of these digital layers on top of that. The next thing will be mixed reality. So I saw we have this HoloLens demo. Mixed reality is kind of a combination of virtual reality and augmented reality, where you're looking through glasses, but see the real world combined with some digital layers. I think virtual reality is not going to be too successful. I think overall, like 1 million or 2 million headsets have been sold through all vendors. Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, PS VR. I think in total they've sold like 1 or 2 million. And Apple sells like, 20 million iPhones on the opening weekend. So they don't have this mass market appeal yet. And I think augmented reality, especially with the new iPhones, is really going to explode, because now Apple has provided this AR kit to all developers. So all developers who in the past have developed regular apps now are able to create those augmented reality experiences, of which I want to show you 3 short examples. So this is something built by The Gap, where they have this augmented reality dressing room where you can just create your own figure and see how stuff will look in different sizes. Here you have an augmented reality application by IKEA, where you just can open up your phone, then select some furniture, place it somewhere and just see how it looks. And if you think about it, let's say you have 10 different furniture shops and only one is offering this augmented reality feature and the others don't. I think it's pretty obvious where people are going to convert at a higher rate. And what I think is super important, especially for fashion and beauty, is something like this. Many people have been there, that they went to the hairdresser and they got a new color, and after that they regretted it, and now you can kind of try it out. And obviously you can do something like this for hats and glasses and sunglasses and things like that. To summarize, so consumers are really more demanding than ever before. As I said, I think at some point they will expect not only the fast delivery, because the fast delivery, you could say, okay, they don't really care, this is kind of boring, because people will expect to get their stuff on time, but maybe in the future they will also expect the messaging features. They will expect the augmented reality application. Amazon really raises the bar for everybody. I think it's super important to create those unique brand experiences in order to compete with Amazon. Direct to consumer is really the only way to establish this valuable consumer relationship. We need to offer great value products. Try-ons are super important, especially for fashion. You need to make better use of data. So first, get the data and then make good use of it. Just simplify your marketing and just focus on those 3 topics and pull all of your money out of the other channels. Focus on messaging apps, because I think those are quite interesting. And I think the one that is going to change shopping the most is going to be augmented reality within the next, let's say, 18 to 36 months. All of you guys have enough projects on your plate right now. And now you may think, oh god, another 10 new projects. But if we know that everything is headed in this direction, I just want to close with this quote of Wayne Gretzky. He has this famous quote of, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. So if we know that TV advertising is the past, or that retail stores are the past, just focus on those future topics, and obviously you're going to make some mistakes by doing that, and not everything is going to go great. He also says that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so I think it's really important to just try those technologies out, experiment with them, and then really see where you can find a use case that is attractive for your consumers. Thank you.